Star Trek The Next Generation Season 2 Review. Hello and welcome to this week's video. A couple of months back I did a review of Season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation. So to be really original, this time I thought I'd do Season 2, which ran from 1988 to 1989 in the US. The first episode of Season 2 is The Child, which is a really boring season opener in which Deanna gets pregnant with an alien child or something. That's her story anyway. This is one I've avoided. I remember it at the time. It was really boring. Yeah, pass. Not a great start to the season. It kind of makes you wonder, surely they could have put a better one as the season premiere. And they could have done, because episode 2 is Where Silence Has Lease, which is actually a pretty good episode. It's actually a pretty good, creepy episode where the Enterprise gets trapped in this kind of hole in space or something that's actually like it's got this alien presence within it, and it starts experimenting on them and shit like that. It's a really good episode. Very creepy. The next episode is Elementary Dear Data, in which Data's holodeck Sherlock Holmes fantasies go a little awry when the computer magically creates a Professor Moriarty who's as smart as Data, and works out that none of the world is real and tries to hijack the Enterprise. This is a pretty good episode, though I must admit I do prefer the sequel in Season 6. The next episode is The Outrageous Okona, which I remember nothing about. It was very boring and very lame. The next episode is Loud as a Whisper. I can't really remember much about this one. It's about some deaf ambassador or something. It was very boring. The next episode is The Schizoid Man. Isn't that the one where the guy kind of possesses Data? Yeah, it's about a dying scientist who tries to take over Data in order to stay alive. It's not bad. I don't remember much about it. Quite interesting, I suppose. The next episode is Unnatural Selection, in which people get old way too soon. Yeah, it's called Real Life. It's a bit of a Dr. Pulaski episode, because of course in this season we temporarily lose Beverly Crusher and we get Dr. Pulaski instead. Honestly, I kind of like Pulaski. She's kind of amusing. It's a little bit odd. I know there's some weird shit going on behind the scenes with Gates McFadden and some producer who was a cunt or something. I kind of like Pulaski though. Yeah, she's got a bit of personality. She's got a bit more personality than, well, a lot of the crew. Oh well. The next episode is A Matter of Honor, which is a really good Klingon episode where there's like an exchange program where a Klingon gets to go on board the Enterprise and Riker gets to go on board a Klingon ship, and that goes about as well as you'd expect. It's a pretty solid episode. The next episode is The Measure of a Man, which is a very famous episode, of course. It's the one where, Data gets his status as an actual sentient being questioned, and it's a very popular episode. It's okay. I find it a bit dull myself. It's worthy, I guess. Not a big fan. The next one is The Dolphin, which is kind of a boring episode. Wes tries to get his end away. Doesn't go well. Whatever. The next one is Contagion. This is a pretty good episode. It's a Romulan episode. We get some of the Iconian Empire stuff from the original series that I understand. I don't think I've ever actually seen it, but I understand the continuity. It's a pretty solid episode. It's quite exciting. The next one is The Royale, which I think is a pretty interesting one. The away team beams down to this planet and find themselves in this totally dead planet, apart from what appears to be like a 20th century casino that they find themselves trapped in and can't get out of. It's a very surreal episode, but I actually like this one. I've heard it's not popular. I kind of like the Royale. It's very odd, and I like very odd. The next one is Time Squared, which is a time travel episode where supposedly a Picard from the future, etc. Don't really remember very much about this. I guess it was okay. The next one is the Icarus Factor. Isn't that the one with Will Riker and his dad? Yeah, I think it was. It was kind of boring. The next one is Pen Pals. I don't remember anything about this one. Okay. The next one is Q Who, which is a very famous episode and definitely probably the best episode of the season and one of the best overall episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. It's a Q episode, as the title implies, and it is, of course, the very first appearance of the Borg, when Q challenges Picard's arrogance and smugness by flinging the Enterprise into a far-flung area of the universe where they've never been, and they have their first encounter with the Borg and pretty much get their backside spanked. This is a really good episode. The Borg are, of course, basically a complete shameless rip-off of the Cybermen from Doctor Who. I think they actually even admitted it later on, didn't they? They're very well done and scary, and it's an excellent episode. You know, it deserves its status. It's genuinely a great episode. The next episode is Samaritan Snare. I don't remember much about this. Not very interesting, I don't think. The next episode is Up the Long Ladder. Isn't this the one with the... Is this the one with the terrible space? Oh, yeah, it's the one with the terrible space Irish, isn't it? Yeah, it's not very good. The next episode is Manhunt, which is a Lexana Troy episode. Never exactly a good sign. This is the first time we have her in it, I think, isn't it? Deanna's mom, Francis Picard, for some reason. Yeah, whatever. It's not very good. The next episode is the Emissary, which this is a pretty good episode. It's about a sleeper ship, Klingon ship from hundreds of years ago, and they think they're still at war with the Federation. It introduces the character of, what's her name, Keller, who's sort of a romantic interest for Worf and who will return in future episodes. This is a pretty solid episode. It's decent stuff. The next one is Peak Performance, in which the Ferengi get involved in the middle of what is supposed to be a war game exercise. This is a pretty decent episode. It's quite solid. It's quite interesting. I think I watched this just a few years ago. It's not bad. And the next episode is the season final, which is Shades of Grey, which is basically a clip show. Riker falls into a coma and experiences the horror of previous episodes. It's no great, shame to say that everybody hates this. It's widely regarded as the very worst episode because it's a fucking clip show, basically. I mean, what is there to say? It's crap, It's just crap. Season 2, I don't know, it's about on the same level as season 1, really, I think. Some of the episodes are terrible. There are some good ones that stand out. It's still kind of a show that hasn't really found its feet, though the characters are probably a bit more The characters are more defined and more kind of established than they are in season 1, which is probably the only reason it's slightly better. And you do have Q Who in there. It's okay. It's not awful, but it's okay. I can't remember what I gave season 1, but I'd give season 2 C+. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.